Hello, good morning to you both. If we're here, it's because at one point we failed. We failed to see the problem, we failed to act, we failed to find a solution. And, you know, even to this day, we see decision makers and stakeholders still arguing about whether or not we should become sustainable. I will not even get into the debate of those who think that climate change might be a hoax, because they have absolutely no place here. So maybe we've missed a generation, and we can't allow the future generation to make the same mistakes. So the question is, how do we really give them better assets? We have representatives of both the young generation and those who care for the future generation. Oumaima, you recently graduated with 3 masters in marketing and communications. You're currently in charge of accompanying social entrepreneurs at Enactus France. And Jeff, you are an education specialist and a professional. You're the head of MUSE School and the CEO of MUSE Global, which are a school that has pioneered a new teaching method by placing sustainability at its very core. I don't want to waste any more time. Ms. Daiboun, what does your generation need to make the change we collectively need?
Hello, everyone. Well, excuse me, I really don't get it when we talk about next generation, because actually we may have no next generation. The situation we're living in today is really quite complicated, and it needs deep and profound changes in thinking, in social and economic structures, and in consumption and production patterns. When I moved to France, where eventually environmental management is more taken seriously than my country, we'll talk about this later. But if we are here today trying to answer this very particular question, means that we assume that we have failed somehow. And actually, it's a great thing to do it, because for me, sustainable development cannot be brought about only by policies and plans and strategies and Vision 2030. Actually, sustainable development should be taken up by the society as large as a principle guiding the many choices every single one of us does every single day. So it's more about really profound changes in thinking, again, in economic and social structures, and in consumption and production.
Mr. King, you work with both parent and pupils, and Oumaima was telling us how important it is to change all of that. Do the parents who put the children in their school, do they see that? Or are we really a part of a lost generation, a generation that did not see the problem?
Well, I don't think parents see it, and I don't think we see it, because at these types of conferences and things, we don't talk about education. You're 100% correct. I think about it every day. But we're not talking about children today. Raise your hand if you're 14 years old or younger, 12 years old or younger. We're not here today. And so we've got to really think about how we are constructing sustainability, because the schools that we want to create and have created, our 5-year-olds know that if they eat 1 plant-based meal a day, they're reducing their water footprint by 200,000 gallons a year and their carbon footprint by a ton. How many adults know that? Not very many. We're asking our 5, 6, 7-year-olds what the oceans are going to look like if we continue to take 400 million sharks out of the ocean every year. And so to get to what you are talking about, where we're thinking about sustainability every single day, we have to make sustainability equal to reading, writing, and arithmetic.
And so how did you do that in your school? How is it ingrained in the curriculum? If I put my would-be children in your school, they learn writing, counting, sustainability. How do they do that?
It is intertwined. We'll take a cardboard box for a 4-year-old. We can take that cardboard box and they can deconstruct it. And now they can make a number line out of it, they can make a calendar out of it, they can make a journal out of it. And now they're looking at, oh, this cardboard box was delivered with content in it. Now I'm starting to train and educate that child to repurpose. So now their brains are already thinking sustainability. One of the concepts that we have at MUSE is called sustainability natives. So by the time you leave MUSE school, sustainability is a part of who you are, just like reading and writing and arithmetic. It's not something that you have to learn or have to come and come to a conference to be educated on. It is who you are every single day, just like what you said.
Oumaima, you didn't go to such a school. There aren't such a school. There weren't such a school when you were in kindergarten. What made you change? What was the click for you to get onto sustainability, discover about it more, and decide to actually, act?
No, I won't. Actually, me, among others, especially being a student of marketing, was formed all the time on how to sell more, how to increase sales, how to better communicate to sale, apart from any environmental constraint, which is really dangerous. And today, I'm working at Enactus France, which is a member of the NGO Enactus Worldwide. And it's a platform of learning by experience that's dedicated to develop young and the next generation of business leaders and social innovators by helping them to implement social entrepreneurship projects. So basically, in my daily work, I assist students to imagine an economic, social and eco-friendly project and to make it happen. But my story with entrepreneurship has begun since 2013, where I was myself student at Enactus. So this double experience, double perspective experience, I was incredibly amazed by the awareness those young people developed, and yet their disposability to learn more and even to come up with brilliant ideas to make the world a better place the best way they can. So today, for example, we are 50 youth activators. We missed school, work, internship, because actually we believe that it's our future. And we came because we have a lot of questions, but sometimes the answers are not really concrete, tangible, with facts. And we actually, I see some green...
Yeah, your friends are with you.
But actually, the question is, can't you be more vulnerable about it? Because we are aware, if we're here today, we are aware that we are all living in the same planet, and we're all having the same goal, and we'd rather work on it together because we don't have that much time.
This is passion-based learning. And I think that's one of the pillars of your school. There are 5 pillars. What are the 5 pillars of your school?
Academics, passion-based learning, sustainability, communication, and self-efficacy. And we want students to be passionate about these things, and we want them to think critically about these things, because the earth that they are inheriting is going to be very different. 7-year-olds today may inherit an earth by 2030 where our oceans are completely depleted. And it was interesting, one of the speakers this morning said 3% of their consumers want to make change but don't know how. That's because we're not educating them, and we're not educating them at a young age to start thinking about that. By the age of 7, your brain is already hardwired to listen to and like the type of music that you're going to listen to for the rest of your life. So imagine schools where you're starting to lay down the neuropathic connection for sustainability and environmentalism. That will stick with you forever, so we don't have this 3% number.
And so at your school, what is the age range? Do you take people whose brain have already been wired?
You're too old, so we would not allow you to come because, we start at 2 years old and we go through 18. And our goal is to start early childhood centers around the world where sustainability is at the center, so that we're educating these children and we're educating the families. Because what's interesting about sustainability is that children are educating their parents. And parents may want it, but they don't know what they want and they don't know how they want it. But when their 6-year-old comes home and says, "Mommy and Daddy, why don't we have a compost?" Or, "Mommy and Daddy, did you know that piece of fish that you're eating is full of plastic?" That really sets parents aside, sets them back, and they start to think, okay, maybe I shouldn't eat that piece of fish, or maybe we should start composting, maybe we should do things differently in our home.
And do you think both parents and societies are ready for that type of school? Are they ready for the 6-year-old to come and say, you've been doing it all wrong? What's the reaction in your community?
I don't know that they're ready. I just know that we don't have a choice. And we have to push through, and we have to make sure that these children we have to give these children a platform so that they can bulldoze through ahead, whether adults or parents are ready or not. And it's not easy. Especially in America, American parents are trained to want their children to set, get, and regurgitate. And it's very damaging to a child's brain to do that. And you have to educate the parents alongside with the children. And you have to not think about whether they're ready or not. You just have to go. Ready, fire, aim.
Oumaima, you're now at Enactus France. Are you planning on going back to Morocco and actually starting maybe that type of school, so giving the future generation the tools that you said you discovered too late?
Well, I was born and raised in Morocco where I have done most of my studies. And in countries like mine, the combined effects of growth, population, urbanization, industrialization, poverty, and so has been that the environmental issues in developing countries are becoming really more difficult to solve. But the paradox is, and in order to solve other questions and issues like unemployment, economic growth, debts, the priorities are rather economic. And we have also multinationals aiming to produce in ways as efficient and cheap as possible. So they often lobby government to benefit from lax regulation concerning their environmental impact and the use of raw materials. And given their economic importance to the host country, this lobbying work quite good. So I think and I believe that the power of education is the key to solve all of this. But the invitation here is moreover than that. In long term, to answer to your question, of course, this is the plan for me to come back to my country and try to start something this because I believe in the power of education. But the invitation here is more than that, is to all of you to wonder how many developing countries we have in this very big world, in Africa, in South America, Asia, Europe, and to tell yourself that maybe I am going to do something with this because it's actually a huge percentage of our Earth. So maybe we have to do something about it. Not only small initiatives, but only big brands. Otherwise, we're all gonna die.
Okay. Hello, everyone. One last and brief question. You said that the pupils, the children, they can educate their parents. And in this room, maybe we're not all educational professional, maybe we're not teacher, but I'm sure that we can all give better assets to the future generations. So what is your one advice to the people in this room to give the assets to the generation that could use them better?
Advocate in your local school systems. If you can't start a school, change a school. And go in there and talk to your teachers, talk to your administrators and say, why are we not teaching this? Why are we not doing this? Because you're right, we are all going to die. And if we don't teach our children to think and act differently, it could be quite a miserable death.
Oumaima, what would you want your manager, your future boss, your future partner, what would you want them to do to give you the assets you need?
Well, I want to stop discrimination based on generation, age, color, ethnic, because we're all in the same boat and we gotta work together. So we're going to make it and finally not die, hopefully, all of us.
Well, the good news is that we might not die, all of us, right here, right now. So that's good. Thank you very much to the both of you.